car chase show, but in Japan. But it's actually American, then dubbed in Japan. Anyway, I have no better way to segue into it. Zanki Zero is a game that makes me want to pull my hair out, but don't worry, because aging will do that to you. Isn't that right, Rio? Developed by Lancast, who made another game I've talked about in collaboration with those guys, you know.
What's this?
It's a game about how your life is only 13-ish days long and you hold less inventory when you're a baby, but then you explore a grid map like Etrian Odyssey, but then you have to survive with base building and using toilets so you don't wet yourself, while the story is actually really good. But then you have moments like,
Don't look at my butt!
Zanki Zero Last Beginning is a survival dungeon crawling RPG where you and a few other people wake up on this island and the TV is like, well, the world ended, so like survive or something. And so you go out into the ruins to find things, but the unique mechanic is where after some step counter, when you go through stairs, your characters age, starting as children till old people, each with different stats and how much items they can hold, as you have to pick up things, defeat enemies, which is kind of just... very tactical. You do get anime moves that kill you the more you use them, but that's the twist with this game. As when your character dies, you go back to your base and then you can revive them as a child, and the cycle repeats. Although all the stuff they had drops on the field and then you gotta pick it up, but wait, you got inventory limits. You can't run because you're too heavy now. Also, you need food and water, and that water's gotta go somewhere. Oh no, you use the public toilet. Now you're more stressed. Yes, if you notice, these are all the things that you can do in Minecraft. You know what I mean. But you're not just doing this randomly. You're trying to get through this story, which kind of surprised me a bit, as each character has some sin they must conquer in each ruin. So the game is odd in that it has a non-existent wiki page, but then people put more effort into the fandom page. You would think something like Spike Chunsoft would have a bit more here, where Takayuki Sugawara, a planner on all the Danganronpa games, thought of this idea back in 2010. But remember, Danganronpa then became a global phenomenon.
For cosplaying characters from a series called Danganronpa, a Chinese video game.
So they had to put this on the back burner, only then announced in 2017 for the Vita and PS4, to be released in 2018 in Japan, where then a year later, it came worldwide only on the PS4 and Steam. And the game had to be changed according to Spike Chunsoft due to Sony's policies, but then they would add all the post-launch content that Japan got. And marketing for this game, I actually remember it as always, from the people at Team Danganronpa, the next game by them. Because yeah, this is mostly Spike Chunsoft with the Danganronpa staff, with the old Lost Dimension buddies helping out on the development side, as yeah, this game just feels like an evolution of that one, especially the music and vibes. I'm not even joking. I picked this game up without even knowing they worked on it, and I was like, hey, this reminds me of Lost Dimension. Or the models just look like the Ace Attorney 3D ones. I mean, even checking all their listed 3D modelers, they pretty much all had worked on Lost Dimension before. And yes, the composer worked on Lost Dimension too, but yes, Team Danganronpa. They had to say this because Kodaka himself didn't work on it, and his name sells, plus it was missing the artist and composer he was always known to work with, so they had to market it a different way.
Zanki Zero! Last Beginning! I wonder if we'll see Monokuma. That hurts. Okay. Ah! Dead! No, not yet! Ah!
Yeah, I wonder if she eventually became a successful streamer. Well, I'm more partial to her Japanese side because her Japanese version actually referenced me on Twitter, so I guess I'm canon to the AI Somnium File universe, which in turn, because she played this game, I'm canon to this one.
It's best not to think about it.
But it's good to think about my other channel because I've uploaded something special there, as today is my 10-year anniversary of making YouTube reviews. And I'll explain more later in this video what it's announcing, or you can just check the description to get an early spoiler. Anyway, Zanki Zero.
That was a sloppy segue.
And so the game came out, sold around 25k physical copies in Japan, and no other data shown, so I don't think it was that successful. I mean, later in that same year, The Somnium Files released, and that has 2 sequel games, so I think it did a bit better for Spike Chunsoft, which is odd, because this game is kinda good, in the writing I mean. On the other hand, the gameplay... So you start following a ghost girl, getting used to the tank controls, where this is definitely a D-pad type of game. You can use the bumpers to strafe, which helps a lot, but it's one of those types of games, you know the one. Where by the end, you just end up staring at the map in the top corner of the screen when you walk around not looking at the environment because it's easier to do that. As you go up to this arcade machine, you pick your difficulty, and then you get a flashback as Haruto, who for some reason was about to, words that YouTube boy let me say, but instead is underwater and with a flash of light, wakes up on a beach with this girl named Sachika. Well, at least it's not that guy waking us up again. And it seems to be the end of the world.
In this perfectly clear, apocalyptic world, my weekend has come to an end.
So yep, this map has a fog of war and you gotta explore it.
Ow. Ah, ow.
Or do that. As you walk around to the yellow markers on the map, you seem to remember this garage, and then you meet the other people trapped on this island with you. And then the TV turns on, and we meet the, not lovable duo.
Hey, kids! It's time for Extend TV! Look, Show! Our friends are all together at last!
Yay! This is awesome, Mirai! Our fight is just beginning!
You're right, but you make it sound like we're getting canceled already.
Boy, I'm getting nervous. I don't know if I'd make a very good assistant.
He's really digging in there. I think you're a bit too lax.
Now it's time for your next mission. Let's make a toilet, okay? Go!
Hold on! You're going way too fast.
Let's make
I didn't mean the way you talk. We need to introduce ourselves first. I'm Mirai, the herbivore mascot and host of Extend TV.
I'm the assistant, Sho Terashima.
Why did you start getting nervous all of a sudden?
This is bad, Mirai. I'm about to pee my pants. I'm quick on the trigger, so... Don't worry. I'm wearing undies.
I think that just makes it worse. We're here to make sure you all survive on this Earth that's now been reduced to ruins.
The last survivors of humanity?
You see, humanity is now extinct. All except for you guys left on Garage Island. We're going to have you all build a basic toilet. Without a toilet, something terrible could happen. Just like what happened to Sho.
Flatter me all you want, but I don't have another drop left in me.
Actually, I meant that yours is a bad example.
I don't want to hear any toilet etiquette from you, Mirai. You poop wherever you walk, don't you?
Hey, I use the toilet too. I even use the bidet afterward.
No wonder your butt is so clean.
Don't look at my butt.
It is here. I am right now regretting my life choices. So yep, we are the last humans, and for some reason, we have this metal X key on our belly buttons. Very Zero Escape vibes from this opening bit. Well, less horny jokes, and more toilet ones. And how did the group handle all this news?
I need more carbs.
You're probably right.
Yeah, so they seem pretty okay with it. I guess because the others woke up before us and they have all let their anger out as we learn about them.
I'm a bondage artist.
You gonna change the music, perhaps? Oh, there we go. So Ryo is into tying up people consensually. Mamoru is like the happiest muscle bro doctor you'll ever meet, and Mashiro is...
Mima Mashiro, the woman with the childbearing hips.
and is a typical Spike Chunsoft protagonist. Bro is just trying to ignore what she said. So her dad owns like a super duper mega corporation that has many industries, so maybe it's one of their industries' TV show, that's why we're here. This is Rinko, who is the most main love interest character ever, and after meeting her, we learn about her functioning bladder. Nice. As yeah, you have these stats to manage, but on the difficulties that I played, they never came up. I think it's more for the hardcore players, you know, managing the eating and the drinking and well, then we meet Sachiko and try to help them with their building.
Yeah.
No need to worry.
Oh, evil music and eye color change. I'm sure it's nothing. Yep, nothing. So her X key is different, as we then meet Zen the farmer and Minamo the police sergeant. Why does this feel familiar? Who then teaches us the combat to fight a goat.
Let's take this.
Yes, this is the combat. It's in real time, so no pausing to stop. You can press rest on the bottom right to heal, but it's in real time. The enemies still move around you, and you press X to attack on my Xbox controller. Equipping weapons if you have, armor too, and there's a cooldown where you can then hold X to do charge attacks. That's pretty much it. You'll then see how irritating it becomes later on. So Zen goes, well, I'm gonna kill the goat because we need some meat, so leave if you want. And Haruto replies,
Damn it.
okay, chill, bro. So he tells Sachiko about this, and she remembers David Beckham, the football player, calling him
Mr. Goat!
hell yeah, he is. Hey, seriously, must be the only person in the world who has this Fortnite layout. Anyway, now you can pause the game. Yeah, 30 minutes in till you can finally lower the music volume. As yeah, those earlier cutscenes were kinda drowned out.
Look at these luscious locks.
As we build the functioning toilet and we learn about our goal.
The human population is down to 8. You guys are the only ones left in the world.
So that must mean everyone watching this program is a clone too?
That's right!
Illuminate!
A brighter future!
For humanity!
Bye-bye!
Are you guys not gonna mention the clothing? So yes, we are clones, and to make a new one, you gotta die, and then use the X key, which has all your memories, to reborn yourself in the extend machine. And some of us are a bit too keen to test it. We stop them, as then on the next day, an island drifts towards us, and we gotta explore it to maybe find the TV crew. Oh brother, they still believe that baloney. So we head there with only wild goats, nothing too dangerous. You pick up items as the D-pad moves yourself, but then you'll move the cursor to pick up things on screen, and that can take some getting used to, as you can only carry as much as your weight allows. But then you can put items onto characters on the bench, and they're then able to hold it. As you have 4 active party members, and it felt very annoying, this inventory, as you press select and you think, oh, that puts the best items on all the characters. No, it just shifts everything to the left, not equipping things for you. So then you gotta know which one is a weapon. Oh, this stick is a weapon. This metal pipe? No. You then gotta hover over everything you picked up and see if they have a number for attack stat that's equipable. Keep in mind, this won't pause the world, so you gotta manage all this in real time, which is so finicky, but it's fine. Look, we found the building Haruto was gonna jump from. Why is it here? I don't know, who cares? Let's go in and...
All right.
Wow, the music really ruined the mood. This was so creepily cool. Now the mood is gone. Well, anyway, the eyeball here stabs Rinko and...
Rinko.
Okay, the mood is back as it kills both of us, turning your clone bodies into sand, leaving the X key, which our group then bring back to the base to revive both of us as kids. Cue the jokes you expect of us not wearing any clothing.
Haruto, your wiener's showing.
Haruto's weenie. Such an impertinent wiener.
No.
Now you learn about the Shigabane, which are bonuses you get for dying. Yeah, you're not going to question that part after the wiener bit. So if you die to a specific death, like you die as an adult or fall damage, you can get a buff that will say extend your adult life by 1 day. So when you revive, you'll use up more score to equip that Shigabane for this life, as now your adult life will get 1 extra day. And score is what you get for surviving longer in the wild, and you'll get more on higher difficulties. So now the dynamic duo tell us our next mission is to go find these extend machine parts on these islands to fix up the machine. So we say, let's go. But some group members are like, oh no, it's too dangerous, we're not going. I then walk 10 steps, and then they actually go, oh, let's go with you. Okay. As one of us still needs to be alive so we can retreat and bring back all the X keys, which you can do at any point. You can return to the base, but sometimes you will just want to keep going to push on in the dungeons. Oh, as you'll see. As then... Oh, Batman Arkham, okay. You can also get skills to say buff up this stage of life to do more attacks, or building skills where you'll use this and things you pick up to make buildings like a place to cook food. Well, it's been a while, let's check in with the TV.
Impossible to make babies if you're a clone.
So they can't make love?
You don't need to sound so disappointed.
Cool. So yeah, the way the missions go, you find an island, you walk around, there's TVs on the floor that will light up showing you the duo talking about some story stuff, then you beat a boss. All the while your characters are aging, where after a certain number of steps, when you transition between floors, you'll get this cutscene, and each character ages 1 day. And after an old age, they die, and can only be revived back at base. So you actually do have a time limit on a run. And the game even makes some bits harder, because then you'll have this Zanki door, where you need 8 people alive to open it. So if one of you dies, you gotta go all the way back to your base, revive them, then run all the way back here, and hope no one else dies of old age in that time. So since this is Haruto's work building, you learn about the publishing company he worked at. This is shown on the TV with the duo finding VCRs and playing it, showing this really cool art style of something related to a sin of the character. And you learn more about it as you go through the ruin, where he wanted to write empowering articles, but it was a sleazy magazine targeted at old men, so he couldn't write what he wanted. Although he then wrote one piece about a divorced mum running away from her husband and how hard her life is now. She says, oh cool, thanks for telling my story, but don't post my photo in the article, otherwise he'll find me. So you're like, okay, cool. The boss is like, WTF, man? Our Gooner Boomer audience can't use this. Show her face. And you know what happens? The boss secretly publishes it with her face, and then the husband goes and kills her and the kid. So Haruto feels sin, as he shouldn't have written the article in the first place, and none of this would have happened, leading to the start of the game. And so through this, you open doors and solve puzzles by stepping on tiles to open other doors, and a thing you gotta get used to, the game will say something happened, but you won't know where or what happened unless you found that door beforehand on your map, and then you check the map after pressing the switch, and you're like, oh okay, now that green door opened when I stepped on this thing. These two are connected. Don't worry, it will get worse as we go on. Eventually we find the floor the boss is on, and it was that eyeball from before, which is actually your office boss. And so you gotta defeat him by just attacking, moving to the side, wait for your cooldown, then dodge his attack, and then repeat. Riveting stuff. And as yep, the boss hits very hard, so if you die, your character's items just drop into the floor, and you gotta make sure you can then pick them up and distribute around your party. It was also kind of funny. They made this big thing about death, and okay, Ryo died in combat for me, but then when I go back in the cutscene, he's alive and old again. Like the game just had to revive him for the cutscene. So we celebrate, and Zen goes, Sachika is sus, right? In fact, one of us might be a liar. Actually, if you think about it, this game is a Among Us situation, if you will.
A liar among us? We may not be able to trust each other, so this means we can all be happy if I find out the truth. This is exactly what I've always wanted to do.
Yeah, what the hell, Haruto? What the heck was that laugh? Maybe you are sus! As the next chapter, you actually play as Zen. Yeah, every chapter you play as each character, where the new islands will be about that character's secret. And it's odd seeing our guy over here now, and he really doesn't want us to tell people there's a liar in the group. Why are we acting so sus now? I remember how Haruto and Rinko died in the story, so they should age the same, right? They didn't die for me in my gameplay. Well, she's an old lady now. Did we die off screen? And also now that machine part adds a feature to the extend machine, allowing us to change the difficulty, where higher is good for farming more materials and lower means no enemies, so if you just want the story. Take a guess as to which one I'll end up later on in this video. So the duo go.
Here's my idea. Let's just roast Mirai whole and feed everyone till they're nice and full.
Wow, that's a pretty good idea.
Right?
All right, let's start a fire and get on that.
No. Wool doesn't burn very well, so the meat would end up raw.
Sorry, I've never been roasted whole before.
We need to shave you naked before we start roasting.
No! Mirai has only done hair nudes so far.
And say a new island appeared, just drifting up towards us somehow. And we gotta get machine parts there. As this place is a jungle where it's a bit tougher enemies, and Zen actually doesn't want people to find out his sin, so he runs off ahead. Yeah, you gotta do this alone for a bit. And you find out his story is that his family moved to the grandparents' farm, and you actually find out the trauma is that they aren't really monkeys, but it's the animalistic metaphor here. But yep, your mum and this old dude got it on, and he's your real dad, not your grandfather. And so this isn't your dad or brother, and your mood changes. You start to act out, and it's just a mess. I feel so sorry for him. Well, in between, you get commentary from the duo.
Boo-hoo. They put all the blame on that, as sad as that is.
No, that's wrong!
Huh. Where have I heard that before?
The reason Zen is in the wrong isn't because he used violence. It's because he didn't have the courage to save his sister-in-law. You get what I'm trying to say, don't you, Miss Mirai?
I really have no idea.
This is what she must have been thinking. I wish someone would relieve this flustered body of mine. The pitched tent in my pants is all the evidence I need, but you turned away from her. Because you, the true culprit that caused the heat in her loins. Zen Kubota, you are the blackened.
No! The reasoning was countered during the closing argument.
As the group also find out because the TV plays it everywhere, so they all saw this from him. And then this becomes the first roadblock for me, as nowhere in the game it says, okay, you know those items and food you've been picking up all this time? Well, you actually can use them on the characters for them to eat. Yeah, I thought at base they would be used for something. I mean, you can cook with them for more food, but I legit was running around with this meat and a full inventory and not knowing what to do with it. So when I died, it was a huge loss for me because the remaining party members couldn't distribute the extra items. As then I pushed through up to the boss, but yes, it's those doors. I need 8 people to progress, so I gotta go all the way back and revive. Wait a minute, Ryo is super old now. If I go back and revive that person who died, then I enter back into the dungeon, he's gonna die after 1 floor of traversal. So then I'll have to run back and revive him, and then someone else might die, and you see this loop problem, as everyone now is in different stages of life. I won't have 8 people when I reach the boss. So I don't know how I managed to figure this out, but I built a crafting building, and then the bedrooms, which thankfully was the right choice to do, as characters can sleep here to rest up their health, but they can also bunk together for buffs, and if you sleep, 1 day will pass. If they are old, they will die in their sleep. Great for us! So then you can revive them as kids, ready to go into the dungeon. So then the loop actually becomes, you kill off your party here by sleeping, and then you revive all of them so they're around the same age for the dungeon. All because of this stupid door. Just wasting my time where I'm sleeping here till death's embrace. And on the crafting table, you can craft better weapons, armor, and upgrade them. As we enter the door and see his grandfather is the monkey boss. Zen seems okay with killing him as we fight, and this was annoying because he barely moves, but then these other creatures will attack you. I think it's based on the doors I opened before I entered the room. There was all these weird puzzles and symbolism things. I don't know why, I just opened everything. And because of that, I think I had to fight all these extra enemies, and I had to hope they don't swarmy, as you can't even tell who is behind you or on the sides. And with that done, now onto the boss, where I didn't realize he has a 2-square AoE attack, which insta-wiped me. So then, I swapped to my other 4 party members, while the other characters' items all taught me from the floor, and eventually, Minimo's the only person left, and I'm like, oh my god, eat all my items, feed, get more space, I need to pick up the weapons, and slowly attack, move back 2 spaces, attack, wait for the cooldown, repeat for 3 whole minutes, and I win. Yay! Oh, all my stuff is stuck on the floor here. As yes, we continue getting the extend machine part in the cutscene. Everyone is magically revived off camera, and we put the machine part in back in the base and end the chapter. Yeah. All my stuff is gone forever. Anyway, now Zen goes, well, Moshiro, you're sus. Which is funny seeing this as a child. Like, it is cool how you can have these cutscenes that are different to every player because your characters will be at random ages depending on who you had in your playthrough at that time. And each actor had to voice all these lines at different ages to play out here.
Wowee! In that case, my.
The downside is that it's not actually fully voiced cutscenes, they just have a little grunt or some one word, which is understandable because otherwise they would have to voice every single line in 4 different age brackets, which is very understandable. Anyway, now you play as Minimo and learn from Zen that he made a garden, which will give you food over time. How do they fertilize it?
You don't want to know.
We also learn about the Cleone, which are those tentacles on those creatures, and now you can use them on yourself, where you find them and you'll attach them to a character, and holding A, you can use them in combat, but the more you use it, the more berserk you'll go, and then you'll die. So needless to say, after always needing 8 people to enter the final boss, I didn't use this.
And what's this Cleone thing supposed to do?
I'm sure by now you all know Cleone have been a thorn in your side, but now, as a new feature of the Extend, so this means you can use the awesome...
Even I'm too surprised to respond.
What's up with your voice?
No, wait! Lick. This taste is the taste of a liar!
Now the next part is actually back to the first building, and you go underground this time, but you also see this blue icon. This is a side story, extra content between the characters, you know, a bit of banter here and there. Just keep a pin on that for now. As we go underground, and this is where you solve more puzzle aspects. Like first, you got to use the Cleone. Actually using it in the world, you can break breakable walls here. Then you also have light switches, pressure pads where you have to chuck items out to keep on the plate and then walk through. The dungeons become much more puzzle focused, which actually will give you a lot of extra things if you explore it all. But here is where I got lost because, you know, the map is not explored. I just didn't know where to go. And I'm thinking, I wonder if there are guides out for this game. And oh, with how low it's sold, there's no Wikipedia page properly. Well, turns out there's not a single GameFAQs walkthrough of this game. Yeah, that's kind of insane. The only thing was a tips one, and that has screenshots of all the maps. But there's nothing telling you which door you should open first, where you should go to save time. So then it became a thing for me, seeing, okay, this is the map. All right, oh, this thing is interactable. I'll try to go to it. Okay, this opened something over there, open more of the map. And so this place took me 1.5 hours. Yeah, I even lowered the difficulty so there's no enemies spawning. Literally 1 hour of just wandering around lost, trying to find some switch in the dark. Wait, this one opened which door? This game feels like those old school games in terms of not telling you many things about the exploration phase, but expecting you to solve it somehow. Oh, this thing opened somewhere magically far away. Plus there's no guides. It's imitating how back in the day you had no internet access. You just had to brute force games if you wanted to beat them. Surprisingly, I didn't see that many people actually mad about this. Yeah, you can see people dropping off like flies in the achievements. Lots of people didn't want to play on. The only ones were people who actually enjoyed this difficulty, or like me, who are intrigued by the story, so played with no enemies and just wanted to see how this ended up. As you learn Minimo's sin, where she's a cop and her brother is told to go steal something by a gang, so she stops them, but then he rats her out to them, and then it just kind of ends here. I don't think that's a sin, as the boss ends up being her brother, who you reluctantly kill. Anyway, we get a new part, however.
Sachi!
Wait, who are you?
Oh no. This is bad.
as he comes in singing London Bridge is Falling Down and just goes and kills Sachika incredibly brutally, with Sachika saying his name is Kurosuke. We then get reminded of how back in the garage, Sachika was also killed by someone before. As we wake and the creature is gone, so we get her X key and revive her, where weirdly a lot of people in the group remember that garage scene from before as well, but no one seems to remember their actual elementary school days and how the 7 of them were actually friends, while then Mashiro yaps about her father cloning because he runs all the businesses. So yeah, now suddenly we all knew each other as kids and Mashiro seems to have some ulterior motive. Now as you play as her, we get the new arcade feature, which is a minigame side-scroller shoot-em-up, where you eventually die on your free turn. But Sachika is like, wait, no, silly. 0 lives mean you still got 1 more. You got 1 more life. Anytime a game shows 0 lives means you're still on the final one. It's not over. Do not remember this point for the ending of the game, okay? And so you seem to remember everyone playing on this arcade and that your gang was actually called the Garage Kids. As next up is a cruise ship, part of the Mashiro super rich family with her backstory on it. And this place was ultra annoying as you have multiple doors to unlock at the same time, holes to fall through, and puzzles like put this item on the pedestal. Whoa, what if you don't have that item? Well, buddy, you gotta find it somehow. Usually they keep a new item near it, but sometimes not all of them. And you gotta throw items across gaps. Yes, holding X throws it. And you gotta put it onto things that trigger the floors so you don't fall through. And if you do this wrong, I was at my limit with this level, having to watch people's Let's Play and copy them exactly the moves they did. Can you imagine if there were enemies here? Look, I understand. I'm not the target audience for this genre. I really don't like those first-person dungeon games. I've tried a bit of Etrian Odyssey and Persona Q. I didn't really enjoy it. Even when I beat Persona 1 and I just was stuck looking at the top-down map screen, I didn't enjoy just running through these mazes. But if you enjoy these kinds of games, I think you will really enjoy this challenge. Like I said, the story and intrigue was pretty much, after this map, the only thing keeping me going. So yeah, after another hour, yes really, I get through and we learn about Mashiro's story. How the super rich dad only loved his wife, but she died. So he made Mashiro act like her mom, with all the awkwardness that entailed.
She's so close with her father.
Yeah, maybe a little too close.
What's wrong with family being intimate?
It sounds wrong when you say it.
Also funny is that Kurosuke appears again and turns into a Mr. X, chasing you through the level. However, on easy mode, Mashiro also mutters how she hates our group because we are hearing her thoughts, as it seems like her father's last wishes for her was to end the clone program, and she will do anything for him. As you learn that he was with 2 scientists and they were trying to clone the dead wife back with Cleone, but she rampaged. So then he gave up on that idea, though he gets assassinated and then says to Mashiro to kill all the clones to end this program, and she, the obedient daughter, is what she's trying to do with the group. But as we are having anime fun time together, she doesn't fully commit to it. As we find out more extend machines exist around the world, and every time we clone, the waste material pops out here, and this is how those creatures spawn from them. As we then fight Mashiro's boss, which seems to be a mix of her and her dad, which is kind of odd. It's not one person and her herself. As we win, and then Mashiro finally becomes her own character. So, well, wasn't that a bit much? Let's cheer up the mood.
My bad.
I see.
What?
What?
Hold on. Come on, come on.
Right.
Like I said.
This is literally the meme right here. Well, the new feature on the arcade machine is that you get to use Cleone on your final day of life. If you do it, you'll go Super Saiyan. And yeah, I have no footage of that, okay? Just appreciate the art. So next is Rio, who doesn't remember anything much about his childhood, but it's all in these hot springs, where this was weird because any time you enter, it puts you on a different part of the map. Yeah, so depending where you enter, the game will still show you the story scenes. Each part has its own TV on the ground, and so if you walk past it, you'll see the story here. But then when you go to the other sides, those TVs won't do anything. I think it was a way for the game to accommodate you entering at any point and still getting the same story. And okay, I can sense you guys are mad in the comments, since you want to see me fight enemies enemies, I'll bump up the difficulty and try it one more time.
This is bad.
Well, I've done all I can do.
So Ryo's thing is that his mother wanted this guy to love her, but he wanted a kid, so Ryo was born. Ryo was energetic, so the dad suggested using a rope to hold him down. Later though, the dad died, and the mother kept looking for love elsewhere, but neglecting her son. Not sending him to school and tying him up a lot because he wanted to feel connected. Oh man, this is so sad, huh guys?
How much do you know about creatures, Show?
Hey now, cut it out, you stupid sheep. I'm talking here.
Shut your damn mouth!
Yeah, you know, with so many jokes, some of them you're eventually gonna find funny in a Stockholm Syndrome kind of way. You just see so much of these two, you can't help but find them a little endearing. However, the mother keeps trying to flirt with men, but the next guy, well... So the mother gets mad that no one loves her, it's always about the son. So she strangles Ryo, and while he's unconscious, she goes to stab that man, and Ryo wondering if she ever loved him. Wait, so what sin of his is this? And it's annoying because you see this heavy topic on TV, and then the game goes...
There it is.
So, the character's not even going to address this. They do a bit later when you walk through, but it's like these topics are so heavy, and you're just meant to jump back into ending the elephant seal population. Haruto is then like...
Come on now.
Now keep in mind, this was after 1 hour of getting these scenes and opening up the map. Turns out, I still needed to do more to open this place, and from random clues on these signs. Just make sure you click every single sign you see, and learning from people online. One way to proceed here is to have 2 dead ladies on your party and 2 alive men, and then stand in a hot spring for 1 minute. I have no enemies that can kill me. Another one is to just have all people stand in the hot spring. So I do that. Nothing happens. I try again. And we hear mechanical noises. Oh wow, okay, now it's opened up, I can beat the level. Yep, that's what I needed to do. It's like each map, they are thinking of more obscure ways for you to try and beat this game. Is there any wonder that many people didn't continue on past this point? And yes, it'll get even worse from here on out. And so with half my party dead, up to the door we go. I'm fearing I have to turn back.
What? What?
So I don't even need my whole team now? Why back then? Is the game glitched? Did it feel sorry for me sucking so much? Anyway, you fight the boss, which has 3 forms. You turn on the taps to bring it out, and you get the machine part. But out pops a clone of Ryo. As Marshall says, oh, these creatures are actually human clones, with their originals somewhere else, like they are failed versions. And they emphasize memories of our group. So we weren't actually killing mutated corpses from our past. It was the past haunting us with the failed clones every time we kept cloning the waste, turning into these creatures, manifesting certain memories from our guild. Also, Mamoru, this interaction? Oh, very peculiar. Anyway, back to the island, Ryo consoles with Haruto, who was like, okay, you know, I kind of wasn't joking. Tie me up because I was serious. And in this interaction, he loses his glasses and then...
Huh? Nope. Sachika was killed. Help!
Turns out Rinko had the same dream too, and she was bullied in elementary school, and then you both think Haruto is the person who killed Sachiko from before. Now you play as Rinko and you're sus of Haruto, as you got a new feature on the machine, the album, where you can revisit any scene and now change up the ages of characters, where apparently doing different combinations you get different dialogue. Like if some people are old, some are young. Do you know how many permutations you have to try to get these? And as usual, there's no guide, so I can't show any of these off. I don't know if it's true. Well, the next zone is the school, the one we went to as kids. As well, this was another nightmare dungeon, as now you have timed gates. Yes, you see these gates here? You know how on every floor you go through, you'll pass after a certain steps, the character's age? This is actually a day passing. Well, on certain days, these gates will be closed. Yeah, just randomly on these days. So then you got to walk around aimlessly, and then when you go back to a floor transition, hopefully you get that day pass scene, and you're on a new day, so the door is open now. Why? Pointless busy work! And to make it even worse, this school also has breakable walls. Wow, chat. Remember the Cleone? How we learned that we can break walls with them? It don't work. Yeah, for some reason, these walls need a different weapon. Oh, what is it? A fire ice axe. Where do I get one? Oh, all the way back in another dungeon. And then I gotta farm materials to upgrade it to the fire axe version. Oh, sorry, I was clearing my throat. So with the axe, I progress. And here you learn about Rinko's past, where she was bullied in high school. And I don't really see any sin she did. People bullied her, the teacher used her. These sins kind of seem to be losing their drive. But no, in the end, you get more memories of her, showing her now in elementary school, where you remember Sachika, Mamoru, and Ryo, saving you from the bullies. And now, more in your mind, you think Haruto is evil. As you even find newspaper clippings of him showing the case and that he might have killed Sachika. But then Sachika tells us, oh, you should still trust him, right? Your memories could be wrong. But then we see the final clip where this guy goes to the garage kids to try and kill them. A man named Kurosuke, a serial killer, where he goes to them, okay, close your eyes and point to the person you hate most, and I'll only kill them. So they listen and point to Sachika, thinking no one else will hate her. Yet turns out, and that's the sin of everyone. They all killed Sachika. Well, I mean, Kurosuke did. But yeah, the group was actually just 7 kids, and there's 1 adult. Oh, Haruto, he has to be Kurosuke. Yeah, you little runt. But then Kurosuke's clone creature thing appears, and we all say, oh no, we're not gonna run, we're gonna beat him. But then...
What?
That's not it.
What?
Oh, very odd. Kurosuke goes and kills all of us except Haruto and Rinko. Haruto then sacrifices himself, saying take all the keys and run back, revive everyone, to make us believe that he wasn't the killer. And this action makes Rinko suddenly remember, wow, my memory sucks, you know? Actually, Haruto was the one who saved me. Mamoru is the bad guy. So you go back and revive everyone except the doctor, as yes, it seems like he was the one who killed Sachika. However, as you head back to the school to pick up Haruto's X key, it's destroyed. There's no way to bring him back. He's dead forever. As then we revive Mamoru to confront him. And it's funny because they're all the kid versions doing this. However, Rinko says he's not Kurosuke.
We all forgot about a certain adult, our teacher, who used to come by our garage often. Isn't that right, Dr. Ichio from the school infirmary? The infirmary? Dr. Ichio is actually the teacher in charge of the infirmary at our school, Caillou Academy.
Okay. Yeah, so he was a school teacher, the one who masterminded this whole X key thing and putting them on this island, but he's not the killer. As he says, we can't revive Haruto, but there is a way if we listen to him. So now in this chapter you play as Mamoru, where you learn about his backstory, where his parents were geniuses and they wanted a super genius baby. They got him instead. So they kind of abandoned him and he moved on as a teacher. However, he found out that his dad had a baby with another woman later on, who was Sachika, the genius child they wanted, and she actually tracks Mamoru down to meet him, and he, being alone all this time, wants to take her in as his sister, saying he will always protect her. And she wants to as well because she doesn't like her parents, and they're like, oh, okay, you can stay with each other, just don't ruin the experimental testing. And while this is happening, Mamoru shows the group there's a hatch below the garage and how we have actually been going to the islands. Because before, we thought those island ruins were magically drifting towards us, but no, Mamoru is down here, driving our island towards each other slowly each night because this whole thing was constructed by the Mashiro Corporation and he was just using all the features to construct his evil plan. We then go to the base where some cloning took place and we can maybe save Haruto, where surprisingly, the map is actually easier than the previous ones. Yeah, you just follow an order, pick up everything. As I learned, you'll get keys and then you unlock the next floors as you learn more of his memories. Since the Extend TV has ended, we tell them all what happened back then, how we blame them all for Sachika's death, and then we took her body from the funeral, leaving her limbs as we were in a rush, and then we go to study cloning to bring her back. We also say we were there when Mashiro tried to bring back his wife, you know, that guy on screen, and the whole head honcho of this cloning Cleone thing is a Dr. Terashima, who is our and Sachika's dad. Oh, look, here he is.
Huh?
Hello.
This is our final villain.
Don't
Sure is
know
a character.
you.
And back then, he actually revived Sachika from blood he had kept of her, but it's a failed clone, not truly her. So he's like, okay, let's just kill this one. But Mamoru can't bear to see her die again, so he takes her in. And Tereshima's like, oh, okay, well, I need her real body to make a proper clone, which you have. If you let me clone her, I'll let you work for me. So Tereshima then goes, well, the government want to give me money for some super weapons, so I'm gonna make the Cleone into ones. You know, using
Nanomachine, son.
so that's what those little lights we saw every time we were reborn or summoning Cleone. They were all the little robots that are inside us. Tereshima then makes the X key to revive people, putting one in Sachika, and then wanting to test the newer models with aging implemented in it, asking us to kidnap the garage kids and put it in them for revenge for what they did to Sachika, feeding us all this hatred. And so Mamoru kidnaps the garage kids. However, another memory as we see the cloning room, Tereshima gets stopped by anti-cloning activists who corrupt the Cleone, causing it to go berserk and killing him, but it also invades and goes into all the machines around the world, mutating all of humanity into those creatures, ending the world. So yeah, the whole thing was just caused by a random activist. He tells Mamoru to live on, put an X key onto yourself and keep reviving, and get your revenge on those kids. As yep, he spent all those years alone, building his revenge on the islands, working out the plan to make the garage kids remember their sin of killing Sachika. So that's why half of those memories didn't really feel like sins. He was just trying to build up to this scene. Also, he doesn't like the Sachika as she's a failed clone. Nothing like the original sister. Anyway, we find Kurosuke here in this place, who is actually a weapon by Tereshima and would keep getting revived here automatically. But we beat him. Take his X key and override his memories with Haruto's, as we'll have memory backups except for Sachika. But Mamoru lied. We actually get the X key to destroy it as a final FU to everyone. But Sachika's eyes turn purple and...
Please stop, big brother.
Huh?
Please.
So yeah, somehow she has a split personality, her original self inside swaps between them. And this convinces Mamoru to be normal and give up on his revenge since, oh okay, his sister is alive somehow. So he's gonna help revive Haruto, overriding Kurosuke. And the game wraps up with a nice ending. No loose ends.
In that case,
What?
no.
Haruto.
Hey!
No.
Thanks.
Huh?
It's like this.
But then the game keeps going? Yeah, the cloning lab where Tereshima died, you know, the Cleone base, washes up on shore. So yeah, we got another chapter as we get a weird vision where Kurosuke is in Haruto's head saying he'll be taunting him forever.
I'm not the one that did that? How awful. You're putting the blame for stealing my body onto your friends?
That's never brought up again. As we play as Haruto and go to that place where it's got two parts to it, an offshore rig and the lab underneath the sea. We learn things about how Mamoru, you know, he was keeping us here, how his whole thing worked out. No, now he's a good guy, he's telling us what he did, including how he made the AI TV show host for Extend TV.
Hilarious.
I can't.
Anyway, you gotta find keys which are one-time use. It was very worrying which key to use where because apparently you can find enough keys to open all doors, but it did not feel like it. I then find a D key which opens up an access to the lab, but there's a password. Sachika, however, knows it because...
Ladies and gentlemen. Hmm? What?
Don't tell me.
Combine!
Fine!
It's just
It's like how the lights flicker on a train before making contact with the next power line.
Her hand is talking?
Yep, Terashima's mind lived on in her arm. All those years, the purple eyes was him. So he tricked Mamoru and is just a swell dad, isn't he? As he rushes down to the lab. As we go back and fix up Sachiko with a new arm that's the exact same as the previous one, so the animators didn't have to model another character. And so we go to stop him because he might have a way to stop our aging. As remember, all of us will age except Sachiko. And maybe then this will let us have kids so we can save the human race as you go into the place. Oh, okay, the Pokemon Ice puzzle. That's usually fun.
Cold. Cold.
Cold! Cold!
Seems I can't just force
Cold!
Cold.
Cold! Cold!
Oh, my ears. Speaking of ears, it's Shin Extend TV.
That's right. We're broadcasting in color starting today.
What's with all that color in your face, huh? Who are you trying to seduce?
What are you talking about? Your face has some color now too, Sho.
So we've got color now. Big deal. These days, it's all about high-def video. Don't tell me that's the only reason you gave this show a new name.
No, of course not. The Sheen in Sheen Extend TV means
Oh, I get it. It's also a ripoff of Shin Godzilla, right?
you can't say that.
Where now Terashima's mind appears, telling us more stuff how he can't extend with his body. This was a long con plan he's working on to make a humanity restoration project, a new one.
A new
For hominoidea, hominidai, hominidai, hominini, hominina, homo sapiens sapiens.
shut your damn mouth.
Bye-bye and bye-bye.
And so, yeah, 1.5 hours later, yeah, this also sucked. You're going up and down, getting lost, not having the keys you need, and it's the little things. Like, here is a switch I cannot get to, but I need it to finish this floor and go down here. Oh, one comment says, you know, actually, if you have Sachiko only in your party, she can actually reach it if you grab it. No, it was starting to feel like those stories that you would tell each other on the playground about Mew under the truck. There's no internet, there's no guides. You just got people trying to remember what they did and telling it online. Well, it turns out I actually had to go around here, remember to turn to this side and flip the switch because this switch closes both holes. Yeah, it's just little things like that. You don't know where to go on the map. And there's these little lore bits throughout the game where you click on papers. Oh, you'll get like some puzzle hints. Remember the hot spring, click on the signs. But most of the time, in all the dungeons previously, it's just random fluff to build out the world. Make sure you click on them all here because they all hide keys and things you need to progress. As someone who didn't click anything, I was now going insane. I was clicking everything. How much more crazy would this level be if you had enemies and inventory management worries, huh? So Terashima is trying to make a new race of humans without any defects of serial killers or something. As eventually we reach him in the depths. Oh no, I have one guy dead. What do you think? So we find him where he turns Sachiko's mother into the birthing machine, the original one. That's how the cloning started. And he wants to be reborn and he goes to do so, where he re-announces himself.
I am the one who will lead this world and new humanity. God Terashima! Oh? I am the new human, created by an original human. Humanity that's been extended to the next stage. I am Extend Terashima!
He's so goofy. So we beat him and then he dies forever. But in a final act, he kills Sachiko as a way to screw over humanity because she doesn't age, remember? She could be the key to saving everyone, but she dies. However, with the power of anime friendship, she is born again with no X key, so then we all raise her together as she's a normal human being. However, the Extend machine dies from overuse, and one by one, we all die.
6, 7.
But then Haruto, while dying, thinks, wait a minute, the video game on the Extend machine. As throughout the game, you have this counter in the top, which is your live counter, how many people are alive. Like a video game, the last people on Earth. But 0 lives means there's 1 person left. So that means when it said 8 people alive, there's actually 1 more alive in this world, Sachiko. If you go and find them, you too can continue the human race. And she goes out in the credits and finds him, where then you see the counter goes up as they both save humanity. The end. Yeah, I know. It's kind of skimming through that at the end here. It's a heavy game. I guess first is that those sins were really intriguing with the style and how they were piecemealed out, but in the end, they don't really matter to the overall plot. Just for some reason, these people had the worst things happen to them. They don't get much closure, not any payback. You just learn about it. Okay, then you fight a clone that sort of mentions it again. Oh, okay, maybe now I won't lie in the same bed as my father. I still like getting tied up. The cop one was so weird. When then the actual goal was all about Mamoru, Sachika, and the doctor, where the twist really felt like watching a telenova, and I can see why old people really like watching them. As gameplay aside, I was kind of just getting a guilty pleasure enjoying the story, not really questioning why or how things were happening. And it really does make sense when you play through it. This is why I feel most people and I played through despite the most frustrating gameplay I've played in a modernish game. I wanted to see how the story ended. It was paced very well, all the telenova style twists and turns, and I actually ended up really connecting with this group. Oh, by the way, you know I could have connected more. How, you ask? Well, you know I never came across it naturally, but there are many voice side content, like that one blue one I did. Yep. Because when I was watching Just One Gamer's walkthroughs to copy what they did on the final dungeon, I would see on the side videos all these events, fully voiced scenes with just character banter. And you know that bed bunk thing? Somehow, if you did it enough, you know, make them sleep to kill the people off from old age, they would actually grow bonds with each other in social links. Yep, I didn't get a single one, so just more character stuff I missed. Which is a testament to, I think, how enjoyable the base story was to me, that I still wanted to keep going to see it to the end. That's how well paced the story reveals were. I really thought it actually ended back here, but nope, there's a whole wacky arm villain to go. It's just a fun romp which you grow to love, just like Stockholm Syndrome. Isn't that right, you two?
Why did Yosuke Kurosaki go around killing Sachika and other innocent people?
Because a hashtag ugly sheep rode the train rocking hashtag exposed butt fashion?
You're the jerk who posted that to social media?
Zanki Zero was an odd release because despite it all, it came west and was instantly overshadowed by either Somnium Files for Spike Chunsoft's releases in 2019. Where all the post-Danganronpa V3 fans in 2017 were looking at what Team Danganronpa were doing for their new game. And oh, okay, it's hardcore Minecraft with aging? It had those vibes of a low-budget mid-2000s game that Lost Dimension really did give me. A vibe similar to Zero Escape. So to the few people who felt that, it really did hook them in. I really think more people would enjoy this game given its crazy difficulty, especially if you love Etrian Odyssey or Persona Q or survival type things. I don't know if I want a sequel though, because this story, I feel they couldn't do it again, these twists. They would just be trying to one-up themselves, and that'd be pretty challenging, I feel. As to me, the gameplay was still a slog, but the story and the way it was revealed made it worth it in the end. As someone who is paying more attention to these games and how they tell stories, it's a big deal to me. Because 10 years ago to this day, I released my first ever review.
The game is a hybrid visual novel. What? You don't know what a visual novel is?
Oh no, I'm not going to show you
let
any
me
more
explain it
cringe.
to you.
And it's been an emotional roller coaster. So many highs and lows, but something I wanted to do because I was feeling things were a bit stagnant with me. I wasn't learning any new skills, showing off my creativity. And I made this decision last year to announce it on my 10-year anniversary as a milestone, which if you've seen the little video on my other channel, should be apparent by now. But if not, I'm making a video game! A murder mystery. I'm in love with it so much, I'll still be making videos, but it hopefully explains why I've been slow on uploads recently. Who knew doing solo game dev would be so much work? And it's still way more work to go, so I'd appreciate to keep me going. Any wish list on it. I rarely ask things of people because I don't want to feel needy, but please, 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 please.
Oh, all right.
Woohoo! I can't wait for you to all try it. And happy 10 years of making creations. Here's to 10 more. And that's it from me. Hope you enjoyed, whether you're new to this channel or you knew me from 10 years of uploading. Hope you enjoy the next 10 alongside the games I'll be making. If you like this video, I have more on the channel, more on my other channels. I have a Patreon where you can support these videos like these lovely people. My social media is in the description. And until then, I shall see you all in the next video.